From Forefront Field in Avon, Ohio, the Rock Entertainment Sports Network brings you high school baseball. Today, it's the St. Edward Eagles against the Buckeye Bucks. Hi again, everybody. I'm Adam Mendoza. Glad to have you along here on Rock Sports as we get ready for this afternoon's baseball game between the two teams. St. Ed's is looking to turn things around after they've lost 2 in a row, while Buckeye continues their winning ways after a big win and a couple of games in late inning heroics. As we take a look at our impact players of the game, we've got to look first at Buckeye's Logan Brown. He's hitting .432 on the year with 14 RBIs and 8 doubles. He is a key component for the Bucks' offensive lineup. On the other side of the ledger, as we look at St. Ed's, it is Grant Lashutka. He's hitting .310 with a .432 OPB and 8 RBIs, and he's only struck out 4 times this year in 10 games. That's pretty good eye coming up at the plate. Also coming up, we're going to have more as we get ready for this matchup between St. Ed's and Buckeye on the Rock Entertainment Sports Network.
When your primary purpose is to care for the world, you'd start with your first patient. Until you're accessible anywhere. You make complexities your specialties and put compassion before anything else. All to redefine what's possible. For everyone, everywhere. For every care in the world. Cleveland Clinic.
At Joyce Buick GMC, serving the community for nearly 60 years means offering the best service and deals in town.
Check out our great selection of new and pre-owned vehicles.
We are receiving truckloads of new vehicles and fresh trade-ins daily.
Visit us today for our lowest prices and great selection.
And that's why people say, drive Joyce. Your friends and neighbors do.
Joyce Buick GMC. Visit us on Chester Road in Avon or online at drivejoyce.com.
And welcome back to Forefront Field in Avon, Ohio, as we get ready for this matchup between St. Ed's and Buckeye. Time for the tale of the tape between these two teams. As we look at the records, Buckeye coming in at 11-5, St. Ed's at 7-3. The Eagles doing well. They're hitting .307 on the year, while Buckeye is just under the 300 mark. But Buckeye has been able to put up a lot of runs this year, and they have struck out a number of times. Both teams' pitching staffs pretty well even at just about 4 if you really average the two. Keys to the game for today, and for the Buckeye Bucks, they need to get an early lead. They won 2 games earlier this season where they had to come back in the 7th inning for wins. One of them was against Bay Village, the other against Westlake. And for the Eagles, their big key, they need to bounce back. After a very successful road trip at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, they have come back and lost 2 in a row. First to St. Ignatius, the other time to Mayfield just the other day. So they really need to bounce back and get into the win column after today's game against Buckeye. Coming up, we'll have the starting lineup and the first pitch on the Rock Entertainment Sports Network.
It doesn't cost a thing to change a young man's life forever, and you can do it in just seconds. By contributing to the Eagle, Ohio Tax Credit Fund, you decide where your tax dollars go. Support St. Edward scholarships and get a dollar-for-dollar tax credit, up to $750 for single filers and $1,500 if you file jointly. Make your contribution before you file your taxes and no later than April 15th. Simply visit sehssgo.org.
This summer, there's a camp for everyone at St. Edward High School. With over 50 youth camps and programs, you can do what you love or try something totally new. From sports camps like baseball, basketball, and football, to tech and coding camps, to our brand new esports camps, there's a place for you at St. Edward this summer. And don't forget, Get the Edge, our signature enrichment program designed to keep students learning, creating, and having fun all summer long. With options for all ages and interests, every camper can find their perfect fit. Registration is open now, so don't miss your chance to have a blast this summer.
it. I appreciate it.
Testing 1, 2. Welcome to today's game here at Forefront Field between St. Edward Eagles and the Buckeye Bucks. St. Ed's is ready to take the field. On mound for the Eagles.
And welcome back to Forefront Field as we get set for today's game. Let's take a look at our starting pitcher for the St. Edward Eagles, and that will be Grant Lashutka, who's walking to the mound. He's thrown 10 innings this year. He's got a 1-1 record with a 4.20 ERA with 14 strikeouts, and opponents are hitting .270 on the year. He will face this lineup of the Buckeye Bucks. It will be Zach Seeley, the catcher, hitting first. Shane Metter, the first baseman, hitting second, followed by Logan Brown and Jeff Costigan, who's in center field, and the number 4 hitter. Zach Stahl is the shortstop. Tyler Heers is the pitcher, followed by Cole Bertzloff in right field, Aaron Hammond in second, and Reese Perkins at third base. And for the Eagles defensively, as we take a look at it, we'll go to the outfield left to right. It will be Leo D'Angelo, Logan Faup, and Will Addington in the outfield, followed in the infield by Rays, Florjancic, Ryan Shepard, and Langston Lucas. Cam Fuhrer is on the mound, and as we said, Grant Lashutka is the pitcher of record for today. The Eagles come into this game with a 7-3 mark and looking to snap a 2-game losing streak, as the Buckeye Bucks come in after winning a couple of games just the other day. And that's going to be your number 1 hitter right there, Zach Seeley, the catcher. As the Bucks come in at 11-5, they are 4-3 in the Cleveland West Conference, and they have a very good record on the road. They are 6-2 on the road. So Zach Seeley will be the number 1 hitter, and for Seeley, he's hitting .296 with 5 RBIs and 6 doubles. He will step up to the plate as we await the first pitch. Fuhrer and Lashutka, your battery for this afternoon. Cloudy skies, the wind is blowing in towards right field. We've had a mist of rain falling throughout most of the day. Here's the first pitch of the ball game, and that's in there for a strike. Good way to start it off as Lashutka gets the first pitch for a strike. He's thrown 174 pitches this year. Here comes the 0-1 count. That one missing. Lashutka has done a good job at the plate, and they are really going to need his bat because the Eagles have been struggling the last couple of games, only getting 1 run in the last 2 games. This one is lined into right field, and right there is Addington to make the play. 1 up, 1 down. It'll be Sean Metter, the first baseman. Metter comes into this game hitting .326 with 1 extra base hit. He does have 9 RBIs in the early part of the season, as they have. This is game 17 for the Buckeye Bucks. The delivery, that one in the dirt, and it's a 1-0 count here early on. Game time temperature 52 degrees with the steady wind making it feel like about 46 degrees here in Avon. Ground ball to Reyes, easily gets it at third base, throws across the diamond for the second out of the inning. 5-3 on the putout, and that brings up the number 3 hitter, Logan Brown, the left fielder. Logan Brown hitting .432, 8 doubles on the year, and you look at that OPS, very good, and 14 RBIs for Logan Brown, the left fielder. Here comes the delivery. That one low. Brown holding off a bit on that one. Eagles looking to improve on their pitching coming into this game, as that one is low and away. In that game against Mayfield where they lost, 4 out of the 7 walks that they issued came around to score. That really hurts the pitching, as that one is fouled away. Count goes to 2-1. As we said, the wind blowing in from center field to right field with a light mist falling this afternoon. That one in there on the inside part of the plate for a strike, evens the count at 2-2. Leshutka trying to get a 1-2-3 inning. That one is lined for a base hit into center field.
Hey, all right, nothing hurt, nothing hurt.
That'll bring up the number 4 hitter, Jeff Costigan. So Jeff Costigan comes in, and Costigan is hitting .333 on the year with 15 RBI. He does have 2 home runs on the young campaign. Runner at first base. Oh boy, took something off that one for a strike. Good pitch there by Leshutka. 0-1 pitch. Throwback. Not in time. Good grab there by Langston Lucas over at first base. 0-2 the count now with 2 outs here in the top of the first inning. Buckeye in their brown uniforms with the white numbers, trimmed in orange. See the Bucks on the front of their jersey, making their way here to Avon, all the way from Medina County. Leshutka's delivery in the dirt. Good stop there by Cam Fuhrer. Fuhrer, who will be heading to Moorhead State. Leshutka now on a 1-2 delivery. Missing outside, trying to really touch the outside part of that plate, trying to dangle it on the black of the outside. You don't want to go inside on these hitters, as Buckeye hitting .291 on the year. That one down the pipe, ring him up. That is it for him. That's a backward K here. So they send 4 batters up, no runs, 1 hit, 1 left on. We will head to the middle of the first inning as the no score here on Rock Sports.
When your primary purpose is to care for the world, you'd start with your first patient. Until you're accessible anywhere. You make complexities your specialties and put compassion before anything else. All to redefine what's possible. For everyone, everywhere. For every care in the world. Cleveland Clinic.
At Joyce Buick GMC, serving the community for nearly 60 years means offering the best service and deals in town.
Check out our great selection of new and pre-owned vehicles.
We are receiving truckloads of new vehicles and fresh trade-ins daily.
Visit us today for our lowest prices and great selection.
And that's why people say, drive Joyce. Your friends and neighbors do.
Joyce Buick GMC. Visit us on Chester Road in Avon or online at drivejoyce.com.
Well, as we get ready, no score. As we head to the bottom of the first, there's your starting pitcher for the Buckeye Bucks, Tyler Heers. He's 4-1 with a 2.4 ERA, does have 47 strikeouts, has given up 11 runs this year. As we take a look at the St. Ed's hitting lineup, it'll be Reyes, Leshutka, and Lucas, the 1-2-3 hitters. Florjancic has been their mainstay in the number 4 spot, followed by Fuhrer, Addington, Shepard, D'Angelo, and Faup. Now defensively for Buckeye, left to right, it will be Logan Brown, Jeff Costigan, and Cole Bertzloff in the outfield. Through the infield, Reese Perkins, Zach Stowe, Aaron Hammond, and Shane Metter. And then your battery is Tyler Heers and Zach Seeley. And stepping up to the plate for the Eagles of St. Ed's is Luca Reyes. Reyes now coming into this game hitting .290 on the year.
See a kid, young kid on the block, who this?
So here's looking for his first delivery on the left-handed Reyes. Here comes the pitch. That one in there for a strike. Luca Reyes recorded a hit in 6 of his last 7 games. 0-1 delivery in the dirt. And with that hit in 6 of his last 7 games, he's hitting .375, 9 for 24. Count is even at 1-1. Infield playing pretty much straight away. That one just missing on the outside part of the plate. Count goes to 2-1 on Luca Reyes. That one in there for a strike, evens the count at 2-2. Now, Luca Reyes did struggle a bit against Mayfield, where he went 0 for 3. He's 1 for 6 in his last 2 games. This one is going to drop for a base hit in the right center field, and the Eagles get on a runner on base very quickly, and that'll bring up the pitcher, Grant Lashutka. Lashutka hitting .310 with 8 RBIs on the year and 2 extra base hits. He's trying to help out his cause. Luca Reyes over at first base has 3 stolen bases on the year. Here's with the delivery. This one's going to be curling foul into the right field netting here at Forefront Field. Grant Lashutka has hit safely in 4 of his last 5 games. He was 1 for 3 against Mayfield on Friday night. Count 0-1 on Lashutka with the runner at first, which is Luca Reyes, with a very good lead over at first base. And the throw back, not in time. So Reyes getting that good lead, almost daring the pitcher to throw back. And what's interesting now is how first basemen, as you look on a screen, how first basemen are not on top of the bag playing the throw. Reyes hopping around over at first base, fakes to go, and that one on the inside part on a take. Count is even at 1-1. So you see where the first baseman is set up. He's a step or 2 off the bag, looking for that sweeping tag if there's a throwback at first base. Old school thought was right on top of the bag. That one in there for a ball, 2-1. Lashutka, as we said, was 1 for 3 against Mayfield. Now, at Myrtle Beach, he had a game where he went 3 for 3 with a double. Lashutka awaiting the 2-1 pitch. Fouls that one into the padding right behind home plate. Evens the count at 2-2. St. Ed's, they're looking to snap a 2-game losing streak. They have been outscored 11-1 in their last 2 games and just hitting merely .200 with 16 strikeouts in those 2 games, and losses to St. Ignatius and Mayfield, as Heers steps off the rubber. Again, the wind really starting to pick up as it's blowing in from center field. The delivery, that one's fouled upstairs, out of play. The outfield today for the Buckeye Bucks playing pretty much straight away. With the wind blowing in, anything up in the jet stream is going to get knocked down. 2-2 count on Lashutka from Harris. The runner goes, and that's fouled into the net as the hit and run was on. On deck is Langston Lucas, the first baseman. Lashutka facing a 2-2 count. Here's trying to get the signal from the catcher. As you see him putting the glove to his hat. Throws that one back. In high school, you can have the walkie-talkie system. You look at the coach over at first base. He'll call the pitches. He'll call the pitches from the dugout. 2-2 count. This one popped up into right field. Short right field. And it's going to drop for a base hit. Reyes will get on the first. Reyes will get the second. And that one just dropped in. The wind really took that one. That ball went up in the air and then it got caught in the wind. The right fielder, Birchloff, was not able to come up with it as it really died there like a quail. That'll bring up Langston Lucas, the left-handed hitting first baseman. On deck is Florjancic. Langston Lucas. Hitting .500 on the year. That one in there for a strike. We were talking about the coaches from Buckeye and being able to communicate with the pitcher. Coaches over in the Buckeye dugout with the walkie-talkie. That one in there for a strike, evens the count at 1-1. There you see the coaches right there, and there he's calling the play, talking into his hand. There's that walkie-talkie, and it goes right to the pitcher and the hat. 0-2 count, and he'll step off. The game of high school baseball has really evolved with the use of electronics. 0-2 count, runners at first and second for the Eagles. That one in the dirt, good stop there by Seeley, keeping it in front of him. There you see Luca Reyes over at second base. Got on with a single. Advanced on the Lashutka single. One ball, two strikes here. Bottom of the first inning. This one's fouled right directly behind us and out of play here at Forefront Field. On deck is Brandon Florjancic, or as a lot of people know him, they call him B-Flow. One ball, two strikes on Lucas. And that one low and outside. Evens the count at 2-2. Langston Lucas with 5 triples on the year. 13 RBIs. Looking to add to that total. Popped up. Center field. Underneath it'll be Costigan. Runner does not go. And that is the first out of the inning. Runners hold at first and second, and that'll bring up Brandon Florjancic up to the plate. Florjancic will be playing shortstop this afternoon. Florjancic hitting .364 with 11 RBIs on the year. Also has 3 triples. Eagles really looking to get an extra base hit. They left so many runners on base in the last 2 games. This one is popped up And it'll be an easy play for the first baseman, Shane Metter. 2 outs in the inning. And that brings up the catcher, Cam Fuhrer, where the Eagles do not want to leave runners on base. Cam Fuhrer hitting .346 with 3 RBIs. He does have 2 extra base hits. The Eagles have left 145 runners on bases. That one's pounded foul behind him. Luca Reyes over at second base and Grant Lashutka over at first. Cam Fuhrer, the catcher, looking to try to get an Eagle run. This one is hit deep into the corner, and it's thrown into the dugout area, and Reyes will get safe there as the shortstop tried to make the play at third, and it got away from the third baseman. As you see the play there, and then he threw it right over there, and then the slight collision of bodies there between Perkins and Fuhrer. Or I should say, and Reyes. That'll be an error on the play. So we've got the bags juiced with Will Addington, the right fielder, coming up. That one in there for a strike. Addington on the year, hitting .235. But he has struggled with runners in scoring position, hitting .167. He's back in the count right now at 0-2. Addington is hitless in his last 2 games, and he's 0 for 5 in that stretch. 2 outs, bases loaded, 2 strikes. The delivery. Backward K, and Buckeye gets out of the inning on a big strikeout by Tyler Hears. As it is no score. The Eagles leave 3 on the field, as we will take this time out on Rock Sports. Top of the second, no score. Coming up will be Stahl, Hears, and Bertzloff, as you see Coach Andrew Delata, or Aaron Delata, in his first year at Buckeye, but he has been with the Buckeye Bucks athletic organization for the longest time. And you know, when it's coaches, it's a big brotherhood. And Delata, in his first year at Buckeye as the head coach, he's coached on the JV level. In reading his bio, they said you could find him in the concession stand working or wherever. And he's having a good chat with Tim Clark. There's Jim Clark, the head coach for the St. Edward Eagles in his 5th year. Long time at the helm of Notre Dame Cathedral Latin with a couple of state championships there. So it will be 5, 6, and 7 for Buckeye. Zach Stahl, the shortstop, Here's the pitcher, and Bertzlaff, the right fielder. Zach Stowe hitting .298 on the year with 13 RBIs and 2 doubles. having himself a very good year so far. Lashutka taking a grand old time getting ready for his first pitch of the second inning. And there's a bunt. Lashutka will pick it up, and he makes the easy tag, doing it all by himself. One out here in the inning, and that brings up good play there by Lashutka, fielding the bunt and making the play. So one out quickly here in the inning. That brings up Tyler. Here's the pitcher. Took that one. Tried to hold up on the swing. A 1 delivery from Lashutka. Took a little something off on that pitch. Count evens up at 1-1. Buckeye 6-2 on the road this year. Last year they were 19-7. They made it to the district finals, but lost against Cuyahoga Valley Christian Academy. 1-1 delivery. Breaking ball in there for a strike. Gets ahead of the count, 1-2. Buckeye with 3 returning starters this year. That pitch missing high. In a game against Midview, they scored 4 runs in the 7th inning for the win. 2-2 delivery. And that is in there for a strikeout. Good pitch as Lashutka just threw that fastball right down the pipe, and that'll bring up Cole Birchloff, the right fielder. Even though he's hitting under the Mendoza line, he does have 3 doubles and 4 RBIs on the year. And the Mendoza line is that 200 mark, made famous by Seattle Mariners baseball player Mario Mendoza. No relation to me or Fernando Mendoza, the number 1 draft pick in the NFL. I wish I was a family member of Fernando Mendoza. And the funny thing about that is that I was mistaken for Fernando Mendoza on one of the local sports shows by Andy Baskin, as this one is hit in the center field straight away. Foul is underneath it, and that will be it for the second inning. No runs, no hits, nobody left on. Still no score on Rock Sports.
When your primary purpose is to care for the world, you'd start with your first patient. Until you're accessible anywhere. You make complexities your specialties and put compassion before anything else. All to redefine what's possible. For everyone, everywhere. For every care in the world. Cleveland Clinic.
At Joyce Buick GMC, serving the community for nearly 60 years means offering the best service and deals in town.
Check out our great selection of new and pre-owned vehicles.
We are receiving truckloads of new vehicles and fresh trade-ins daily.
Visit us today for our lowest prices and great selection.
And that's why people say, drive Joyce. Your friends and neighbors do.
Joyce Buick GMC. Visit us on Chester Road in Avon or online at drivejoyce.com.
Still no score here from Forefront Field as St. Ed's and Buckeye scoreless. The Eagles will be at the bottom half of the lineup. They'll send 7, 8, and 9 hitters, Shepard, D'Angelo, and Fopp, to the plate. And Ryan Shepard will step into the plate. He is the second baseman and the number 7 hitter. Tyler here's just given up 2 hits so far, as Shepard hitting 200. He does have a home run for the junior. Another left-hander in that lineup for Coach Jim Clark. Foul tip right into the glove. We were talking in that last half inning about the Mendoza line and then throwing in Fernando Mendoza, who was the number 1 draft pick in the NFL for this year's draft, on the local sports talk station. That one missing. Andy Baskin, who also coaches hockey at Gilmore, had mistaken my name as the number 1 draft and didn't miss a beat calling my name out. And Jeff Phelps, another friend of mine, had to correct him on that. I actually went on the air and told them I was ready for that NFL draft to be the number 1 pick, as that one was fouled back. And all three of us had a very good time. And I got a lot of phone calls that morning when they were mentioning me on the radio. So 1 ball, 2 strikes on Ryan Shepard. That one, trying to hold up on that pitch, goes in the dirt. Count is even at 2-2. Right fielder now playing a tad bit shallow in right field because of the wind. He had trouble in that first inning. 2-2. Pitch high, missing. Count runs full at 3-2. Eagles looking to get the first runner on the base here again. Addington now stepping back in. Overcast skies, slight drizzle, if you want to call it, more of a mist. That one grounded to third base, picked up by Perkins on the backhand, throws it into the dirt, and a great scoop right there being made by Shane Metter. 5-3 if you're scoring at home. That'll bring up the left fielder, Leo D'Angelo. What a play there, and a good scoop by Shane Metter. So Leo D'Angelo, the junior, hitting .360 on the year with 2 extra base hits as a .965 hitting. Inside Park, right there for a strike. D'Angelo, the number 8 hitter. D'Angelo has a hit in 3 of his last 5 games. That one up high. Count even at 1-1. D'Angelo opened the season with a 5-game hitting streak. This one hit in a center field, dying for a base hit. That wind is really knocking the ball down here at Forefront's field, as D'Angelo now has a hit in 4 of his last 6 games, and that brings up the center fielder, Logan Faup, who's hitting .300 with 2 doubles and 5 RBI. So the Eagles once again getting runners on base to start the inning. But they have failed to put runs on the board. Runner goes. Nothing being thrown there on the steal by D'Angelo. D'Angelo with his 8th stolen base of the year. The Eagles as a team now with 39 stolen bases. Against St. Ignatius, they were caught a number of times trying to steal bases, as that one is hit into the padding on a foul ball. Evens the count at 1-1. As we said, Faup opened up the season himself with a 5-game hitting streak. That one just missing. He has 6 hits in 15 at-bats during this last stretch, hitting .400. 2 balls, 1 strike. Here's looking over the runner at second. He goes. There's the throw. Not in time as he slides under the tag. D'Angelo now is at third, and the Eagles have a really good opportunity to get on the base. Great jump there. And steals underneath as D'Angelo with his second stolen base. Now can Faup bring in a run for the Eagles? Only scoring run in the last 2 games. This one, center field. It'll be caught by Costigan. Runner's going to tag, and the Eagles are going to take an early 1-0 lead. On the sacrifice fly. So the Eagles get on the board 1-0 early on, and that brings up back to the top of the lineup in Luca Reyes. Reyes, the left-hander, singled and was stranded over at third base in the first inning of play. Eagles getting on the board with a run here in the bottom of the second. That one in there, taken for a strike. Eagles so far, 1 run, 3 hits, no errors. For Buckeye, no runs, 1 hit, 1 error. Reyes fouls that one just above us. I had my glove ready. Count goes to 0-2. Here's looking to get out of this inning after giving up a run. The 0-2. Got him swinging. That'll be the end of the inning. But the Eagles get 1 run on 1 hit. As we head to the top of the third, we also, NEO Productions and St. Edward Athletics, want to offer our sincerest condolences and prayers to the family of Maddox Grazer and the entire Worcester family. He ended up getting sick this week, was hospitalized, and unfortunately passed away. Top of the third inning, St. Ed's leading it 1-0. They got a run back in that last inning as St. Ed's leading it 1-0. And for the Buckeye Bucks, they will have their 8-9-1 hitters, Aaron Hammond, Reese Perkins, and Zach Seeley coming up to the plate for the Bucks of Buckeye. So Aaron Hammond, the second baseman, hitting .268 on the year. 7 RBIs and a triple. Lashutka delivers the first pitch. This one just over the head of the second baseman for the first base hit, or second base hit for the Buckeye Bucks here in the third inning as Hammond gets on base, and that'll bring up Reese Perkins. So the Bucks getting a runner on base here in the top of the third as Reese Perkins, the third baseman, hitting .286 with 9 RBIs. He also does have a triple this season. Lashutka out of the stretch. That one gets away from Fuhrer, and that's going to advance the runner on the pass ball. 1-0 count. And that'll put Buckeye with a runner in scoring position at second base. Lashutka looking in for the sign. Runner at second. Bunt attempt. Right off the leg of the catcher, Cam Fuhrer, on the bunt attempt. You hear Coach Clark telling Cam to walk a little bit because he took that one right off the leg.
He took it right off the leg.
And that is going to smart for a couple of days, especially on this cold day today. 1-1 count on Perkins. Lashutka looking to get the signs restarted all over again. Infield at the corners, playing in at the edge of the grass. Big swing and a miss. Count goes to 1-2. Middle of the infield, playing at playing deep in the middle. Corners are in. Now the third baseman in, and Langston Lucas playing about 2 steps behind the bag. Perkins stepping out of the box once again. There is work going on in the Buckeye bullpen. That one missing. Jeff Costigan warming up in the Buckeye bullpen down the first base side. That one in the dirt once again. Good pickup by Fuhrer. Fuhrer, when he first got here to St. Ed's, played hockey. Endured a couple of injuries during that, and then mainly concentrated on baseball, primarily as a catcher. Good arm. Will be heading to Morehead State. Holds up on that, and right now the Buckeye Bucks with runners at first and second on the walk given up by Lashutka. That is his 8th walk given up on the year. As we said, he comes in with a 4.2 ERA. He's 1-1 on the year. He's given up 7 runs, 6 of them earned. He does have 17 strikeouts this year. Top of the third inning. Buckeye threatening to score. Bunt attempt. In there for a strike as he made the attempt.
You're ready for a bunt attempt. They're probably going to.
Oh, great. Hey, Chef, gotta be there. Gotta be there.
Great forward, take forward. Big count.
The outfield playing pretty much shallow, especially in center field. Falp is very shallow in center field. Throwback, not in time. They tried the timing pattern over there, timing play at second base. Hammond at second base, Perkins at first, and Seeley up at the plate. That one in there for a strike. He goes to 0-2. You hear Coach Delata says, way ahead there. Now he's going to have to battle in there. Lashutka 0-2 count on Seeley. The delivery. Got him. That is the 3rd strikeout for Lashutka in the ball game. That brings up the first baseman, Shane Metter. Metter grounded out to third back in the first inning. But the Bucks still threatening with runners at first and second. Metter, the left-handed hitting first baseman, trying again to get the pickoff. That does not go. Metter on the year with runners in scoring position is hitting .349. Comes into this game with 9 RBIs. Lashutka out of the stretch, looks back the runner at second and delivers. In there for a strike.
Hey, roll up, roll up.
0-1 count. 1 out here. Top of the third inning. On an overcast day in Avon. Big cut as he took something off on that pitch, and the count goes to 1-2. Boy, Lashutka really needing to get a big out right now. One ball, 2 strikes. Got him. 4th strikeout for Lashutka in the ball game. Logan Brown, the left fielder, comes up, and Lashutka now registering 4 strikeouts in the ball game.
Logan Brown.
That one is grounded easily to Rays. He'll make the play at third, and that will end the inning as 2 left on. Nobody on the board for the Buckeye Bucks. We head to the bottom of the third. No score, or the Eagles leading at 1-0 on Rock Sports.
When your primary purpose is to care for the world, you'd start with your first patient. Until you're accessible anywhere. You make complexities your specialties and put compassion before anything else. All to redefine what's possible. For everyone, everywhere. For every care in the world. Cleveland Clinic.
At Joyce Buick GMC, serving the community for nearly 60 years means offering the best service and deals in town.
Check out our great selection of new and pre-owned vehicles.
We are receiving truckloads of new vehicles and fresh trade-ins daily.
Visit us today for our lowest prices and great selection.
And that's why people say, drive Joyce. Your friends and neighbors do.
Joyce Buick GMC. Visit us on Chester Road in Avon or online at drivejoyce.com.
1-0 St. Ed's with the lead as we head to the bottom of the third inning, as Grant Lashutka will be the first batter. And taking a look at some of the college commits for the Eagles this year, and you see Lashutka committing to Wright State, Jack Laux at Wabash Valley College, Robbie Anderson. Those last 2 names, they're injured right now, not playing at Findlay. Brandon Florjancic heading over to Tiffin, and Cam Fuhrer, the catcher, committing to Morehead State. There you see Grant Lashutka singled and was stranded over at second base back in the first inning. Eagles lead it 1-0. They scored that run in the bottom of the second inning. Lashutka, a .310 hitter, has only struck out 4 times. He's walked 7 times on the year. He was 1 for 3 against Mayfield the other day. Bottom of the third inning, new pitcher now in for the is number 6, Jeff Costigan. Jeff Costigan, the new pitcher, the big left-hander. Costigan is 2-2 on the year with a 5.5 ERA. Has pitched 17 innings coming into this game. That one fouled into the catcher. Boy, the catchers are getting beat up early on in this game. Catcher Zach Seeley taking one in the thigh area, walking that one off. And there's this unwritten rule between catchers and umpires. If the umpire gets hit, the catcher will go out to the mound to give the umpire a little bit of time to regroup. If it's the catcher that gets hit, the umpire will take that walk to the mound to give the catcher a few extra seconds. Pitch goes high. Count is even at 2-2 on Lashutka. Here in the bottom of the third inning, Eagles pushing a run over in the second. This one hit, and it'll be right into the glove of Logan Brown. First out of the inning. Langston Lucas will check in to hit. Langston Lucas singled, or he flied out to center field. Lucas has hit in 9 of 10 games played this year. The lefty takes that one low and away. Langston Lucas went 1 for 3 with a double, along with a stolen base in the loss to Mayfield. Leads the team with steals with 10. Jeff Costigan throws. That one in there for a strike to go to 2-1. Wind now shifting in its direction, blowing straight in from center field. Foul, tip it away. Count goes to 2-2. There you see the wind blowing straight in from center field. Been like that all day here in Avon at Forefront Field. Ground ball hit to the second baseman. Hammond picks it up easily and throws him out. Second out of the inning. And that'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Brandon Florjancic. Costigan is 57% on, or 56% on first pitch strikes. That one missing away, so I jinxed him that time. Florjancic popped up to first base in his first at bat as that one's fouled away. Count is even at 1-1. Buckeye getting ready with another pitcher in the bullpen. That one in there for a strike. Warming up in the bullpen, number 21, that's Colton Price. Oh, that one was low, but it's going to be rung up as a strikeout on Florjancic. And the Eagles fail to get a runner. 3 up, 3 down. We head to the top of the fourth. 1-0 St. Ed's on Rock Sports.
We're back.
1-0 as we head to the top of the fourth inning. And the road ahead for the Eagles does not get any easier. They take on a very good Medina team, and then Jackson, the Polar Bears, consistent in the regional play. Then the Battle of Lakewood against the Lakewood Rangers, and then they take on University School as you look at the next 4 games for St. Ed's. But right now they need to concentrate with a 1-0 lead over the Buckeye Bucks as Jeff Costigan, the pitcher now is Jeff Costigan. Buckeye with 3 college commits on their roster. Zach Seeley will head to Earlham College. Lashotka delivers, big swing and a miss. Gets ahead on the count. Gets him swinging once again. Eagles really looking to stop the 2-game losing streak, losing last week to Ignatius and to Mayfield after a very successful trip in Myrtle Beach. And you've got to wonder, does the cold of Northeast Ohio cool off those hot bats that they had over in Myrtle Beach, where they went 5-0? Got him! That is the 5th strikeout by Lashotka in the ball game. That'll bring up Zach Stowe, the shortstop. He's 0 for 1 on the day. Lashotka now with 5 strikeouts as this one is fouled. Count goes to 0-1. Once again, the Buckeye Bucks having some action going on in their bullpen. Lashotka delivers, missing high. Also warming up in the bullpen is Reese Perkins.
1 or 3. Can you give me the Buckeye bullpen?
1-1 count with 1 out here on Stowe.
Yeah. No, bullpen.
Lashotka
We'll do it next pitch.
delivers.
3.
Low missing. There you see the... That is Reese Perkins warming up in the Buckeye bullpen.
4. Take 4. You're clear, late.
2 balls, 1 strike. Ground ball up the middle. That'll be picked up by Flor Jancic. Throws him out over at first. Good play there by B-Flow. 6-3 if you happen to be scoring at home. That'll bring up Tyler Heers. So Lashotka getting some help from his defense here. Only given up 2 hits so far.
Take 4.
That one in there low for a strike. Good location on that pitch. 0-2 count. And for Lashotka, this will mark his 2nd longest outing. He pitched 4 innings against Tennessee High, where he did get the win, even though he gave up 4 earned runs in that matchup. Big breath by Lashotka. Now throws it in there in the dirt. 1-2 count. Got him again. That is the sixth strikeout of the day for Grant Lashutka as the Eagles head to the bottom of the fourth, leading it 1-0 on the Rock Entertainment Sports Network.
When your primary purpose is to care for the world, you'd start with your first patient. Until you're accessible anywhere. You make complexities your specialties and put compassion before anything else. All to redefine what's possible. For everyone, everywhere. For every care in the world. Cleveland Clinic.
At Joyce Buick GMC, serving the community for nearly 60 years means offering the best service and deals in town.
Check out our great selection of new and pre-owned vehicles.
We are receiving truckloads of new vehicles and fresh trade-ins daily.
Visit us today for our lowest prices and great selection.
And that's why people say, drive Joyce. Your friends and neighbors do.
Joyce Buick GMC. Visit us on Chester Road in Avon or online at drivejoyce.com.
As we head to the bottom of the fourth, there you see the line score. 1 run, 3 hits for St. Ed's. No runs, 2 hits, 1 error for the Buckeye Bucks here as we head to the bottom of the fourth inning. And we will have the 5, 6, 7 hitters for the Eagles coming up. It'll be Cam Fuhrer. Fuhrer got on base on an error back in the first inning. Has recorded a hit in 5 out of 8 games this year that he's played. He's registered 4 games with multiple hits. Jeff Costigan, the left-hander, throwing. That one in there for a strike. Fuhrer down in the count. Holds up on that high fastball.
So I did a game for the Rubber Ducks where the game started after 9 o'clock. So it was a 7-inning game. Wait for it, take 4. They did a 5th inning stretch.
That one away. Count goes to 2-1. Fuhrer against Lincoln County went 2 for 4. And then against St. Ignatius, he went 2 for 3. Sitting .333 on the year. That one in there for a strike, evens the count at 2-2. Fuhrer in his last game went 0 for 2. In that 5 out of 8 games, he was 4 of 7 for .571 average. As he runs the count full against Costigan. On deck is Will Addington, the right fielder. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The left-hander rocks and fires. Got him swinging. First out of the inning, and that'll bring up Will Addington. That is the 3rd Eagle strikeout on the day. Buckeye combining with 3 strikeouts so far as Costigan getting that one. Addington struck out looking back in his first at-bat. Costigan on the year with 18 strikeouts. Count is even at 1-1. That one in the dirt, 1-1. Sure, a lot of the folks that are here at Forefront Field will be hoping for the sun to poke through the clouds, but that is not going to happen as temperatures will be very low and in the 50s for the weekend here in Northeast Ohio before temperatures climb back up to the 70s. And Northeast Ohio weather has its ups and downs. So Addington gets on base with a walk. That'll bring up the second baseman, Ryan Shepard, as the Eagles get a runner on base for the third inning out of 4 in this game. Ryan Shepard, 0 for 1 on the day. Shepard hitting 200 on the year. Bunts, good bunt right into no man's land. Costigan makes the play over at first base for the out, but that advances Addington over to second on the sac bunt. Great bunt there. And so on the sacrifice bunt, moves the runner over to second base. 2 outs here in the inning, and that brings up the left fielder, Leo D'Angelo. D'Angelo singled and scored back in the second inning, also had 2 stolen bases in that second inning. Held up on that one, takes that one for a strike. 1 run, 3 hits. No errors for the Eagles. No runs, 2 hits, 1 error for Buckeye. Costigan is going to step off as he looks over at Addington over at second base. Addington with just 3 stolen bases on the year, but has a decent lead over at second base. Big swing, good cut there by D'Angelo. And he's quickly down in the count, 0-2. 2 outs here, bottom of the 4th. Eagles hoping to push another run across. That one low and inside. Count goes to 1-2. Eagles have had a scoring drought, only scoring 1 run in the last 2 games. That one throwing back. Good stab there by Hammond. Eagles so far stranding 3 runners against Mayfield. They stranded 6 runners in that game. Fouls that one. Eagles in that game against Mayfield, they struggled with only 10 quality at-bats for 35%. Hoping not to strand another runner. That one low in there. D'Angelo looking to get a hit. He's got a hit in 3 of his last 5 games. Went 2 for 3 against St. Ignatius. Pop foul. First base side. Lots of room as Metter will make the catch for the 3rd out of the inning. Eagles strand 1, but they still lead it 1-0 on Rock Entertainment Sports Network. Grant Lashunka getting ready for his 5th inning of work as the Eagles lead it 1-0 in the top half of the 5th inning. He's only given up 2 hits so far in the contest. Lashunka will be facing the 7, 8, 9 hitters, Bertzlaff, Hammond, and Perkins. Bertzlaff, the right fielder, lined out to center field in his first at-bat in the second inning. Very cool, brisk day here in Avon. Temperatures in the low 50s. No sun whatsoever, with a slight mist that's been falling most of the day. This one's banged right up the middle for a base hit as Bertzloff gets on the single. And that'll bring up Aaron Hammond, the second baseman. He singled and was stranded back in the third inning. That is the third hit for the Buckeye Bucks in this game. Lashutka now working out of the stretch, working on the bunt. They throw it down and not in time. Good backup there by the second baseman, Ryan Shepard. Buckeye is not afraid to try to put the bunt play on to get the defense. Again, looking to bunt. They say he got the bat out of the way quickly. If you look at the third baseman, Luca Reyes, he's playing 3 steps in on the edge of the grass. Ground ball up the middle. This should be a double play. Picked up by Florjancic, throws him out in time. 6-3 on the double play for the Eagles. Boy, that one was close over at first base. That'll bring up the catcher, or that'll bring up the third baseman, Reese Perkins. Perkins walked his last time up. Lashutka getting the ground ball double play. Ground ball hit over to Shepard. That one gets underneath him on the diving attempt. Now let's see how they're going to score that one. Two outs here in the top half of the fifth inning. Well, they're going to give him the base hit on that one. Lashutka now working with a runner at first. That brings up Zach Seeley, the catcher. Seeley has committed to play baseball at Earlham College. 2 outs here, top of the fifth. Buckeye down by a run. Lashutka delivers. Low. Two balls, no strikes with 2 outs here. On Seeley. Bangs one down the third base, foul. Two-one count on Seeley. Struck out his last time up. He's 0 for 2 on the day. Lashutka getting ready to deliver his 60th pitch. This one is grounded to Reyes deep in the hole at third. Throws across the diamond for the out. 1 left on base. Eagles still lead it 1-0 here on the Rock Entertainment Sports Network.
So we're back.
Bottom of the fifth inning. St. Ed's leading it 1-0 as we have the 9-1-2 hitters for the Eagles coming up. It'll be Faup, Reyes, and Lashutka. Here's the road ahead for Buckeye in the next 4 games. They'll play back-to-back days against the Normandy Invaders. Then they'll take on Lakewood and Rocky River. Those are all Cleveland West Conference games as Buckeye with a good record so far in conference play. They're 4-3. And there you see Jeff Castigan again coming out for another inning. Eagles leading it 1-0. When they brought Castigan in to pitch, they took Casey Stowe out to center field. So Logan Faup, the left-handed hitting for, center fielder, had a sacrifice fly and an RBI. Back in the second inning to get the Eagles' lone run here in this ball game as we are in the bottom of the fifth inning. Jeff Castigan, the left-hander. Big swing and a miss there by Faup. Castigan working pretty quickly. Breaking ball up high. Count goes to 1-1. As the day has gone on, the outfield for Buckeye has gone closer and closer. They played more shallower as the day has gone on. As you see, center field and left and right, they're playing very, very shallow with the wind at their back. Pitch missing up high, 3-1 count. The wind started coming in from the outfield going towards the first base dugout, and as the game progressed, it's directly from center field as this one is hit up in the air. It'll be tracked down by Stowe. He drops the ball, and the Eagles will get a runner on base. That'll be an error on the center fielder as he had the opportunity to make the catch, and that ball just shifted right at the last moment. That is the second error for the Buckeye Bucks, and let's see if that'll cost them. As Luca Reyes up to the plate, throw back out over to first. Reyes is 1 for 2, struck out back in the second inning, and got a single and was stranded back in the first. Foul ball, that one right into the umpire. And this is where we talked about the catchers and umpires giving each other a little extra time. If the umpire gets hit, the catcher will go out and take some time to give the umpire a little bit of room to recuperate. And there you see, that's that love between a catcher. It's a love-hate relationship between a catcher and an umpire. You love them when you get the calls or you help each other out. Then you don't kind of like them if you're not getting that pitch there. Runner at first base for the Eagles. On the bunt attempt, Reyes missing. Count goes to 0-2. That is the one thing you got to love about high school baseball when, you know, sometimes you hear the parents getting a little out of hand, but then the players back to back, and that one's going to hit right in front of the runner. That's going to advance him as that one is into right field as Reyes picks up his second hit of the ball game. Right in front of there as that one a ground ball base hit. And the Eagles will now have runners at first and second, and that brings up the pitcher, Grant Lashutka, trying to help out his cause. Had a single. He's 1 for 2 on the day. Eagles with runners at first and second. There's the bunt. Right back to the pitcher, Costigan. Throws it in time. Good attempt there.
Here's a look. Ready out to 1.
And here comes the throw, just beating the slide.
Heading for the Eagles, number 10, first baseman Langston Lucas.
One out here in the inning. Runners still at first and second. Langston Lucas. Lucas 0 for 2 on the day. Came into play against this past week after that trip in Myrtle Beach, hitting over 500, and has struggled a bit. Lucas was 1 for 3 against Mayfield and 0 for 3 against St. Ed's. He's hit in 9 of 10 games this year. Looking to make it 10 of 11 games. 2 balls and a strike as Costigan looks over the runner at first base. Runner at second for St. Ed's. This one's going to be a base hit into the gap in left center field. Gets by. That's going to score 1. Now they're going to send Lashutka home. That'll score 2. Here's the play at the plate. Not in time as the throw was up the line. Reyes and Lucas getting on. We'll credit Lucas with the double. And the Eagles put 2 more on the board and now lead it 3-0. Cha-ching! Cha-ching! And that brings up the number 4 hitter, Brandon Florjancic, the shortstop. That one's fouled away out of play here at Forefront Field. As the folks on hand here bundled up as best as they can. Florjancic awaits the 0-1 pitch in the dirt. Blankets are a must today. Huddle under the blankets. I'm sure those folks are wishing they had a cup of hot cocoa right now. Eagles leading at 3-0. Langston Lucas getting that 2-run double here in the bottom of the 5th as they put 2 on the board here. Leading it 3-0. Florjancic holds up on that one. Count goes to 2-1. Eagles scored a run in the second, 2 here in the 5th. Ground ball to the shortstop. Zach Stowe throws it over, not in time. That was deep in the hole, and Florjancic gets on base. Clearly beat the throw there at first base, and now that brings up Cam Fuhrer, the catcher. So Coach Delata now is going to come out and talk with Jeff Costigan here in the bottom of the 5th inning, with the Eagles threatening once again after putting 2 on the board. And it looks like we are going to have a pitching change. And it will be number 7, Reese Perkins. We'll take this time out on the pitching change here on Rock Sports.
Ohio, are you ready for Monsters, the Fury, and the Charge? Are you ready to finally watch sports the way they should be? Free Rock Entertainment Sports Network, The Rock, 24/7 access to local Ohio sports and entertainment. No cords, no apps, no subscriptions. Every level of competitive sports, from high school to the pros. Live for viewers across Ohio. Watch The Rock now on Channel 22.1 or Spectrum 979.
New pitcher for the Buckeye Bucks is Reese Perkins. He's 1-0 on the year with a 7.6 ERA. Has thrown just under 4 innings this year. Has given up 4 runs, all of them earned. So Costigan will head back to center field. And I believe they moved. We'll wait to see if they get the changes. Bertzlaff, Brown. So Reese Perkins now in there to face Cam Fuhr as the Eagles with a 3-0 lead, 6 hits in the ball game. Runners at first and second for Fuhr. This one is going to be hit. Going back to make the catch is the right fielder, and Lucas will advance on the sacrifice. Two outs in the inning. That'll bring up Will Addington up to the plate. Addington on the day is 0 for 1. He walked back in the fourth and struck out in the first inning. Eagles now with runners on the corners. Addington still hitless in his last 2 games, looking to break that streak right now. Runner goes. Runner gets the ball, gets away. Lucas will score, and the Eagles will have Florjancic at second base as Langston Lucas crosses over for the 4th run, and Florjancic there moving on the wild pitch. 4-0, St. Ed's with the lead here as they put 3 on the board here in the bottom of the 5th. Type of inning they have been sorely needing this past week. Addington walked back in the 4th, struck out looking back in the 1st. Addington, very good patience, seeing about 4 pitches per plate appearance. That one in there for a strike. Count goes to 1-2. Wasn't too thrilled with the call that time and has to regroup himself. One ball, 2 strikes here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th. The Eagles up 4-0. Florjancic is the runner at second. Perkins delivers on the outside part of the plate, just missing. Count evens up at 2-2. On deck for St. Ed's is Ryan Shepard, the second baseman. 2-2 on the count. That one fouled away and out of play here at Forefront Field. Souvenir for somebody in the parking lot. Cool, crisp day here in Avon. Has been off and on sprinkles. More of a mist today. Another one fouled away. Baseballs are not cheap, young man. I wonder who's on baseball duty to go outside the stadium to pick up those foul balls. 2 balls, 2 strikes as Reese Perkins looks in for the sign. Steps off. Tries to keep Florjancic back there at second base close. Two delivery once again for Perkins. Just missing right there. I think the home plate umpire was looking to start up that lawnmower. Perkins now with a 3-2 count on Addington. Fouls that one into the net. Good at bat there for Addington. Perkins looking to deliver his 11th pitch of the inning. That one fouled off the thigh of Addington. Umpire goes, "Are you all right?" And he just shakes his head and says, "No." On a cold day. Oh, that one's going to smart and leave a mark. Good work by our crew here at Forefront Field. Still 3-2 count. And they get the runner, Florjancic, stealing third after the walk. And that will be it for the Eagles. As we head to the top of the sixth, Eagles put 3 on the board, lead it 4-0 on Rock Sports. Top of the sixth, after the Eagles put 3 on the board in the fifth inning, they lead it 4-0. The Buckeye Bucks will go with their number 2, 3, and 4 hitters. As we look at the resume of Coach Jim Clark in his 5th year at St. Ed's with a 54-40 record, was previously for 28 years at Notre Dame Cathedral Latin, where he won 2 state titles in 2001 and 2009. He's also won 14 district titles while he was there, and 12 times he was named Coach of the Year, so he has a very impressive resume. And when you look at Coach Jim Clark, if you go to Psychology Today, there was a great article written by Dr. Udolph on Coach Clark. Coach Clark, a couple of years ago, had to deal with some severe health issues where he had a double lung transplant. And for a season, he had to carry an oxygen tank. But since then, doctors say he is one of those that goes into the medical books after recovering from and coming back from double lung replacement surgery. And if you look up in Psychology Today, in an article written by Dr. Udolph, great article talking about the whole process, the whole movement there, as this one is grounded, backhanded by Florjancic, throws it high, and that'll let the runner advance, and it bounced right back to Langston Lucas, and that is an out the extremely hard way. So the ball getting right there, great bounce off the wall, and then they get the runner trying to advance. So 1 out in the inning. Stadium helped on that play. That brings up Logan Brown to the plate. He is 1 for 2, singled back in the first, grounded out in the third. So on that last play, it was overthrown on a good play by Florjanta getting it on the backhand, but it bounced off the concrete support in the right field area, and it bounced right back to Langston Lucas as he was able to make the easy throw to get the runner trying to advance on the overthrow. So the assist goes to Forefront Field on the play. Lashotka working his 6th inning. He has 6 strikeouts in the ball game. Make that 7. Another backward K as Lashotka comes up with his 7th strikeout of the ball game, and that'll bring up the center fielder, Jeff Costigan. Lashotka came into this game with 14 strikeouts, has 20 on the season. This is his longest outing of the year at 6 innings. And he's only thrown 67 pitches. 4-0 St. Ed's. Lashotka on a 0-1 count right there. Grooves one down the plate. He is ahead of the count at 0-2. Costigan struck out looking back in the 4th inning. Lashotka gets a 1-2-3 inning, 2 strikeouts. He gets his 8th, and the Eagles head to the bottom of the 6th, up 4-0 on the Rock Entertainment Sports Network.
When your primary purpose is to care for the world, you'd start with your first patient. Until you're accessible anywhere. You make complexities your specialties and put compassion before anything else. All to redefine what's possible. For everyone, everywhere. For every care in the world. Cleveland Clinic.
At Joyce Buick GMC, serving the community for nearly 60 years means offering the best service and deals in town.
Check out our great selection of new and pre-owned vehicles.
We are receiving truckloads of new vehicles and fresh trade-ins daily.
Visit us today for our lowest prices and great selection.
And that's why people say, drive Joyce. Your friends and neighbors do.
Joyce Buick GMC. Visit us on Chester Road in Avon or online at drivejoyce.com.
Reese Perkins working for the bottom of the 6th inning as St. Ed's leading it 4-0 here at Forefront Field. The Eagles put up a run in the 2nd and then 3 in the bottom of the 5th inning. Then in the top of the 6th, the Bucks went down 1-2-3, but you got to give the field an assist. There was an error on the play. It went over the head of Langston Lucas. It carried right back to him, and he was able to throw the runner easily out at second base. So that'll bring up Ryan Shepard, the second baseman. 0 for 2 on the day. Shepard currently on a 3-game hitting streak, looking to continue that right now. Takes that one in there for a strike. And during this 3-game hitting streak, he's hitting .375, 3 for 8. He went 1 for 3 against Mayfield. That one just missing outside. Reese Perkins delivers. This one foul behind us. Out of play. Ryan Shepard, the second baseman. Sacrifice fly back in the 4th. 1-2 on Shepard. Perkins out of the windup. This one lifted foul down the third base side into the stands. Good at bat right now. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Perkins once again delivers. That one is hit in the hole, picked up by Hammond, and he throws him out. Good play there. 4-3 on the out. Good play right there. Good pickup. Bobbled it, but still was able to continue to concentrate and get the out. That'll bring up the left fielder, Leo D'Angelo. He singled and scored back in the second inning and grounded out over to the first baseman back in the fourth inning. St. Ed's, 4 runs, 6 hits, 1 error. Buckeye, no runs, 4 hits, 2 errors in the game. The Eagles got runs in the first and fifth inning. Big swing and a miss there by D'Angelo. Perkins out of the windup. In there on the inside part of the plate for a strike. He is ahead of the count at 1-2. Low, just missing. Eagles, after the third inning, really went on a tear, especially in that fifth inning where they got 3 runs. That one missing high on the breaking ball. Count goes to 3-2 as he works a full count. Reese Perkins. The payoff pitch. Good at bat there by D'Angelo. He'll walk. He gets on base for a second time in the game, and that brings up the center fielder, Logan Fopp. So the Eagles with a runner at first. Fopp got on an error back in the sixth inning. Had a sacrifice fly back in the second inning. That one missing high. On deck is Luca Reyes. D'Angelo over at first base. 1 out here in the bottom of the sixth. Missing inside and high. And Zach Seeley will go out and talk with Reese Perkins a bit to settle him down. St. Ed scored a run in the second and again 3 in the fifth. And they're looking to push a couple of more here in the bottom of the sixth inning after that little conversation over at pitcher's mound. Fopp looking to advance the runner. Faces a 1-1 count. That one's fouled just above our high home camera. One ball, 2 strikes.
Ooh, ready 3, take 3.
Oh, now it's 1-2. Missing outside. Count goes to 3-2. 1 out here in the bottom of the sixth with the runner on first. Fopp awaits the 3-2 pitch. And he walks. Another good at bat. Second straight walk given up by Buckeye pitching. And the Eagles will have Luca Reyes coming up to the plate. Luca Reyes. scored back in the 5th inning. He's 2 for 3 on the day, bunts that one foul. Runners at first and second for St. Ed's. On an absolute gorgeous day, if you're a Penguin. Oh, 1 count. Lines this one, center field, gets the center fielder Costigan going back. He'll make the catch for the second out of the inning. 2 outs here, and that brings up Grant Lashutka. Lashutka now looking to help his cause. Scored back in the 5th inning. He's 1 for 3 on the day. That one pounded to the shortstop, Stahl. Throws him out. 6-3 on the out. We head to the top of the 7th. St. Ed's leading it 4-0 on Rock Sports. We head to the top of the 7th. Lashutka goes back to the mound to work it, looking for a going a complete game as the Bucks down to their final 3 outs. But, folks, don't count Buckeye out. In a win against Midview, they scored 4 runs in the 7th inning for a win. And then they rallied in the 7th for a win against Westlake. So it looks like we may have some hitting changes coming in. We'll have to wait and see in this 7th inning as Lashutka working a masterful game. 69 pitches. Has given up 4 hits. And that will bring up Zach Stowe up to the plate. He's 0 for 2 on the day. So Langston Lucas trying to finish the complete game win for the Eagles. This is his longest outing of the year. Eagles looking to snap a 2-game losing streak right now. Zach Stowe takes the first pitch of the 7th inning. Breaking ball inside. Stowe came into the game hitting .298. Takes that one for a strike. Lashutka on the afternoon, 8 strikeouts. His previous high was against Tennessee High School with 7, and he gets him to swing and wave on that pitch. Lashutka delivers. Ground ball. Backing up is Langston Lucas. He'll make the play over to Lashutka for the first out of the 7th inning. So Lucas doing a good job backing up to make the play, and that'll bring up number 12. That's Andrew Lazar. So Lazar comes in to hit for Tyler Heers, and he takes that first pitch for a ball. He's a .250 hitter. He's walked once and struck out once so far this year. That one in the dirt. He is ahead of the count at 2-0. Lashutka has thrown 75 pitches so far in this contest, going the distance. He'll deliver. Got him there. Lashutka, the Wright State commit, with 8 strikeouts so far today. Two balls and a strike, 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Delivers. Just missing low. Count goes to 3-1. Not too many batters have gone deep in the count for the Buckeye Bucks, as they've had one batter get on base with a walk. Got him there with a strike. Count goes even at 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Lazar. Lashutka out of the windup. Bangs that one into the ground, right to Lashutka, picks it up. And then it was Cam Fuhrer coming up with the ball to get the bobble, and he gets the out. Talk about teamwork. There's the play, and then got him out easily for the second out of the inning. So 2 outs here in the 7th inning, and that brings up Cole Bertzlaff, the last hope for the Buckeye Bucks here in this contest, as St. Ed's leading at 4-0, and Lashutka looking for the complete game win. Swing and a miss. 0-2. St. Ed's 1 pitch away from stopping a 2-game losing streak, leading at 4-0. Lashutka has an 0-2 count on Bertzlaff. Now he'll step out to regroup. Give Lashutka a little bit of time, as I'm sure that dugout for St. Ed's very anxious to get out on the field. Here comes the 0-2 delivery. Swing and a miss. He goes down, and the Eagles get the win with the 9th strikeout by Grant Lashutka, as St. Ed's wins this one 4-0. We'll take this time out on Rock Sports. Eagles take this one 4-0. They snap a 2-game losing streak. Grant Lashunka pitched a complete game gem. No runs, 4 hits on the day, but he also had 9 strikeouts as the Eagles had 4 runs, 6 hits, 1 error, and Buckeye, no runs, 4 hits, 2 errors. And for the Eagles, they increased their record to 8-3 on the year. Well, that'll wrap things up here for our Northeast Ohio production crews led by Chris Mendoza as the Eagles win this one 4-0. We thank you for joining us here on Rock Sports.